The EV Roadmap 3 conference was held at the Oregon Convention Center this year amid the enthusiasm of the Portland International Auto Show. This year's auto show provided the perfect venue for the EV conference because it featured environmentally friendly vehicles introduced in Oregon and throughout the U.S. by auto manufacturers, cars, SUVs, and trucks powered by hybrid, electric, and other emerging technologies. Electric vehicles have long been the subject of filmmaker Paine, who came to the Portland conference to focus attention on electric vehicles and Oregon's energy future. Paine wrote and directed the Academy Award-nominated 2006 documentary, Who Killed the Electric Car? He's currently working on a highly anticipated sequel, Revenge of the Electric Car, for release later this year on Earth Day.
This is the future, and it's attainable.
California and the Northwest have been pioneers in this. I think partly because there's so much green electricity here. We have hydro and geothermal, and 50% of our electricity resources are natural gas. It's quite a clean grid. And so it's a lot easier for these places to do electric cars and say, hey, they really are a lot greener. It's a tougher case when you're in Pennsylvania or in purely a coal place to do electric cars and make the case. You still can, but it's a no-brainer in the Northwest. And I think there's a lot of smart people and intelligent leadership up here, and maybe independent thinkers.
Let's assume that there's a 10% adoption rate, which we think is at the high end in about 10 years. That seems reasonable. It's probably a little bit high, but it's a good place to start with. In 10 years, a 10% penetration would be about 170,000 vehicles. That would represent about a 50 average megawatt load on our system.
Sponsored by Portland General Electric and Portland State University, 180 people attended the one-day electric vehicle information and planning session.
In terms of what the consumers would see, those 170,000 vehicles will reduce consumption of gas by 68 million gallons of gasoline per year.
What is behind so much of this, which really is, of course, related to the issue of the environment and greenhouse gases, and where the issue is driven so much by the incredible population growth that we've had over the last few decades and is expected to continue into the future.
The event is designed to chart the way for the region's electric vehicle and charging infrastructure development. Oregon is helping to lead this effort, forging strong partnerships between higher education, government, business, auto and charging station manufacturers, and the state's largest electric utility, PGE. The utility has already partnered with customers to develop a growing network of charging stations in the state. And the U.S. Department of Energy, recognizing the partnerships, chose Oregon to install 2,000 charging stations. Oregon EV usage patterns and the impact to the electrical system will be studied and can become the basis for a nationwide EV charging infrastructure strategy.
The electric car promises to re-romanticize the car, because the car was supposed to be freedom, mobility, but it got sullied by pollution and dependency on the Middle East. So the electric car offers sort of the re-romantification of the car. And I don't think it's pushing things too far to say that that's one reason the car companies are back in the game. They want to win back the romance.